Witness me, Smegma Crazies, and welcome back to Mad Max. Last time we essentially cleared out all facets of the Scrotus faction's presence here in the nearby to Chum's Tabernacle. And I'm sure nothing will go wrong from here. Everything's fine.
Saint? Oh, Saint, come and see. Come and see, oh, Saint. Yes, she's... With these hands and the blessings of the sacred Illinois, she's come to life. My sweet angel combustion.
What did I tell you? V8, not V6.
Yeah, exactly. 8 is the magic number. You and me, we're gonna land a big chief. A bona fide bad boy. Huh? 429 cubic inches, 460 horses, holy rolling. Nobody could touch you on the blacktop day or night. Why, you'd be evergreen, eternal, road tripping with the gods.
Where is it?
Gas Town.
Let's go there.
No, wait. You can't just go to Gas Town. We need armor on my angel for that run. Yes, it'd take a long time, too. I'd probably need to get a couple of... Cabbages!
Get in the car!
Wait, it's my tabernacle!
Let's go! Get in the car! Come on!
Get a little backed up here. We're actually supposed to follow that car. But you know, we didn't get too far away, it's fine.
Somewhere we can rebuild.
Jeet, of the Great White, we can make a deal. Trust they don't kill us.
Doesn't sound safe. That the best we can do?
I don't think we have a choice, Saint.
And so our world has essentially opened up.
This part of the Great White is Cheat's territory. Oh, like everywhere else in this realm, it's been overrun by Scrotus. More boy camps and patrols are everywhere.
The world isn't entirely open to us yet. There's still a few more things we'll have to do before we can get too far. But for now, we've really unlocked a lot of the open world mechanics we're going to see. Fast travel will be unlocked shortly. Finding all the different things to do on around the wasteland. And of course, many scavenging locations. I'm a bit torn on what to do with those. I may do some of them off camera because, you know, I'm always hunting for more scrap, but they're also incredibly boring to watch somebody just, you know, drive around and go to a location with onesie-twosies. Some of them are interesting, but most of them aren't.
So it began.
A few of them may have history relics, which, I don't know. I'm a bit torn on the idea of just kind of going and doing it off camera, but I also don't want to waste your time. It's valuable. But completing these vantage points will give us another fast travel station to go around the wasteland a bit quicker, but it also gives us a really good opportunity to survey the area, which will give us an idea of what snipers may need to be taken out, scarecrows to be pulled down, things to be wary of in the area. While up at the top of the vantage point, you can see these little white dots, which will essentially be points of note. You may see snipers, you may see scarecrows. You can also spot death runs, which are individual vehicle races that can also act as fast travel points. But once you complete a race there, it also gives you a permanent fueling station. Doing death races is also a good way to add enemy vehicles to your collection. There are two ways to do that. One is to take a vehicle to an allied stronghold, the other is to complete a death race for that vehicle. Either way, it will be added to your collection. There are a few vehicles that I believe can't be death raced with until you have unlocked them story-wise. But by and large, death races, they exist. There's something to do, I guess. They get you, if you finish fast enough, you get an extra Griffa token. But outside of that, not such a big deal. You can see a vehicle off there on that hill. It's actually a special vehicle, and at any other time, I would be excited to see it. That is a Scrapulence. And if you have access to a friendly stronghold, you can return a Scrapulence to that stronghold, and it will give you a whole mess of scrap. The problem is, I don't have any allied strongholds yet, so there's not a whole lot I can do with this. It is worth mentioning that they are a little bit, fragile. If you take too much damage while driving a Scrapulence, then the scrap on the back will actually fly apart, and there's no way to recover that. So this one's in fairly pristine condition, and if I had access to Jeet's Stronghold already, I would definitely be driving it there right now. But unfortunately, this first visit to Jeet's Stronghold requires us to use the Magnum Opus. We can at least drag down some scarecrows along the way. Yeah, it looks like the car needs a little bit of a fix, so we can go ahead and hop in here, refill our canteen, you know. Pick up some scrap, all the little things. Road boys are going to be a little bit tougher than your average roadkill. Plus, the road pounders will always have weapons attached to them, or they'll be carrying them. Sorry. Generally speaking, the roadkill faction is pretty much going to be weaker than the War Boys, just because, well, they're random scavengers, whereas the War Boys are actually coordinated. We'll see similar enemy types through both factions, but, well, all three factions, including the Buzzards. But out of those, the Buzzards and the War Boys will generally be stronger. The Roadkill, well, they're just there. Anytime you see a scavenging point with a little water drop next to it on the map, that's one that actually has a water source, in case you find yourself running low. Usually you can tell where they are in the camp by their big blue tarps or something similar of that fashion. In this case, this water collector is actually a dew collector. That big tarp exists to collect all the morning dew and whatnot, and channel it down into that hubcap. Which, you know, water is an important resource in the wasteland. Gotta find some way to keep it. Of course, as with what we no longer know as Chumbucket's territory, lowering the threat level in Jeet's territory will get us more access to more upgrades for our car.
Behind every tomb. Range! That's what we need! The shooter with the range! Our rifle barrel, scope, the caliber, large caliber, yeah! Long shot!
Hard to get one.
Perhaps these nimble black fingers are skilled in such metallurgy?
Are you saying you can build them?
If Jeet has the parts I need, I saw one dismantled once. It's not so complex.
I mentioned that we might have trouble with snipers, but that's only when they're a long way away. If they're in a weak tower, we can still pull down their tower, and as it turns out, snipers are not very good at flying. That's not quite how I expected that vehicle to go, but okay. Let's try that again. If a vehicle gets low enough on health, it will try and flee. In this case, that vehicle is pretty much at critical level, so it's going to be trying to get away from me. That vehicle would have tried to flee as well, but, you know, I just don't have time for that.
See? Scarecrow! They're everywhere!
As for why this Scarecrow, the line broke on it before, it's because the line actually intersected with the rock outcropping there. You can quickfire your harpoons and everything else. It will usually aim for the most vulnerable point, maybe a door or a wheel, or in the case of the shotgun, usually a fuel tank.
But there are no friends nor favors in this wretched land. That wreckage lies in a shallow grave! If we'd be so blessed!
Sometimes you'll get those call-outs, and it's for, sometimes there are buried cars, and they're still fairly good condition, so you can get some good scrap out of them. The problem is being able to find them. Chum usually has a call-out, but they're also usually kind of well hidden.
Announce your business, or learn to love a bolt in the brain.
me, Chum Bucket, Master Wrench Jockey, and Skill Blackfinger, who's an acolyte to the angel combustion who beseeches you.
Who's your driver? Does he have any knowledge of medicine?
I fear not. Your pain must linger. I'm sorry, but he is a driver of otherworldly skills. Yes, you see.
Why would I need a driver of otherworldly skills? Scrap monkey!
Please! Please, we aim to enter the Dead Barrens, and all my gear, it was destroyed by infidel scavengers. And we need to heal this machine. If you let us work here, why, with his saintly wheel hands and my black fingers, we will deliver to you a bona fide grease pit! Ah, praise be the prophet!
Let him inside.
I wonder.
And so we find ourselves in our first stronghold. It's not much to look at, but it's safe.
It's not much of a car. You trust that little scrap monkey?
For now, not much of a stronghold.
Careful now. Don't want to insult a man in his own home. Listen, we used to rule this stretch, and now the warlord controls all and brings only death.
Warlord.
Scrotus, Scabrous. Killed, I hear. Sawed him up in the head. But his terror outlives him.
A proposition then. I'll weaken their grip on these lands. You give us the use of your garage and tools.
Boom! If I thought you could, you'd have a deal. And then what?
Gastown.
Oh, one peep at the jaw will change your mind.
What's the jaw?
It's a gate you gotta pass to reach Gastown. Look for it yourself. It's in Dead Barrens Pass.
Right before I do we have a deal?
Yeah. You weaken the influence of that dead warlord. And we'll have a deal. You should get your little black finger working on your car. Needs to be beefed up if you're gonna make good on our deal.
I have a deal with Jade. You build me that sniper rifle, then we head out. We have work to do.
Praise be! Oh, just you find me the parts, and I'll get cracking. I have it, huh? I have it, Saint. And just help me find the requisite parts and some kind of a trigger mechanism.
Oh, you want a trigger, driver? Think we got some old gun junk in the cage? Take a look. Maybe your scrap monkey can make something of it. We don't have anyone can figure that stuff out anyway. Plus no ammo to talk of.
This should work.
Whenever you have something, Saint, I stand ready to do the good work.
Each stronghold you walk into will still have more scrap to pick up throughout the area, along with possibly some more history relics. You know, come to think of it, you know who doesn't have any problems with ammo? The Scrotus faction. They've got access to the bullet farm, so they've got all the bullets they could use. Somebody should relieve them of those.
Raise it with the boss.
Yeah.
He's a killer. I see it.
And over here we have our first hood ornament. These are little things we can mount to various parts of our car to give us small boosts. I don't currently have access to it, but we'll see those eventually. It could be an attack boost, could be a top speed boost, handling boost. There's options.
We may be dying.
So, I was mentioning hood ornaments. To start with, the vast majority of them are locked. There are some convoys we can go through to grab some from the lead vehicle, but we can also find a few scattered around the wasteland due to some DLC. In this case, the aviator helm based on the gyro captain from Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. That's the first one we found. I've also got these two Rockstar energy drink based ones, because why not? Top speed boost never hurts. And you can see on the right what putting on each individual hood ornament will do for you. You can have two equipped at once, one on the front and one on the back. They're okay.
We still
They're not huge, but they're good enough.
And ready for action. I'd say we've gained us an upper hand.
Slide over. Time to put this sniper rifle to the test.
I'm confident it will serve our purposes without fail.
Better than I thought. Nice balance.
Yes, my fingers were controlled by otherworldly forces. Communicated!
The sniper rifle is a fairly simple weapon. You stand still and you snipe. We'll never particularly upgrade the damage on it. Mostly it will just be reload speed and magazine capacity. But it's always going to be a useful tool. It will always do exactly as much damage as we need it to do.
It's another one of Scrotus's camps!
Some of these vantage points aren't exactly puzzles, but they may be a little bit hard to figure out how to get into as compared to others. And some of them, the balloon will already be all the way up with you have to refuel a generator to get it back down, or the balloon itself may be out of fuel. Either way, each vantage point is pretty distinct. There's no really, not really a cookie-cutter way of seeing them. That guy's going to be driving back and forth for a while, but just remember he's there. As I mentioned, this balloon is out of fuel, so we'll have to find our handy-dandy gas can to go ahead and fill this one up. Sometimes the vantage points will have gas cans on the scene available for you to use. Other times you may have to bring your own. I've only recently learned about a faster way to do these vantage points, actually. No need to always scroll around zoomed in with your binoculars. I'll start doing that soon. Maybe not in the next video, but soon. There's a better way to do this than what I'm doing. Remember this guy. Now you see him, now you don't.
We win now. I remain in peril.
The last thing of interest coming up is you can always use long shots to take out enemy snipers, which, you know, fight fire with fire. We'll probably see a convoy route up ahead, but otherwise, that's going to be about it for this video. Next time we'll be taking on a war camp, and then we'll also be scouting out the Jaw, which only sounds a little bit ominous. And here's a convoy route, but we won't be back here until much later. Convoys are still a bit beyond us. Well, a bit beyond me, at least.
War party!
But until next time, stay thirsty.